Hello, everybody. This is Len. I just went through triple bypass surgery. I've been out of the hospital about 3 days at home. Since then, I've been walking 2,500 steps a day, every day progressively more. My voice is just getting all the hospital out of it and stuff, but you'd hear me better. I might sound a little winded, but the truth is, I'm feeling pretty good. Anyways, any one of you that's going through the surgery, I think the big key you need to look at is mindset and prep. You have to prep. So you got to go on a good Mediterranean low sodium diet that they're going to want you to go on after you get out. Do it before you go in. Don't treat this like I'm hitting a bunch of cheeseburgers on my way into the heart surgery, because it's just going to make your recovery that much longer. And once you're in recovery, you'll know what I'm talking about. You'll be like, no, I wish I ate correctly. I wish I ate the better stuff. And then I think mindset plays another big part of the program. I'm a veteran. I get this done over at a VA hospital in Durham, North Carolina. Duke University doctors work with the Durham VA. So I did my research. I could have gone outpatient to a nice civilian doctor's fancier, hospital. But instead, I said, let me look around and look at the statistics. Statistics are a big deal. Thanks to AI and all that stuff out there these days, you can look it up on Grok or Chat GPT or whatever. But the big thing you're going to be looking at is the quality of the surgeons. And Duke is like number 6 in the country and in the top 1% all the way around. They do so many of these. So if you're a veteran, you can go somewhere like that in your home state. I guess in California, it would be Palo Alto, or in Houston, it would be the Houston VA, and other VAs throughout the country. And many of them are affiliated with incredible surgeons that come in that are working there doing your stuff. And they're from the hospital across the street, which is some very high-end hospital. So the only other side is it's not, the nursing care was exceptional. And when I was in the ICU for 5 days, really, really enjoyed the staff. They took great care of me. It's kind of being stuck in a limbo situation. Can't move, can't do much. You can get up and walk once in a while. You could do things. But they're labored. And it's because you're trying to get all the fluids out of your body because they put a lot of them into it. And that's one of the things I'm dealing with right now is getting the fluids out. And those fluids, or they went into my legs like edema. The legs look like, I've never seen my calves look so big. Any bodybuilder would have loved it, but not me. I don't need the sausage legs. So I'm bringing them down, working on my rest. Took a few days to get the taste of the hospital out of my mouth, if I could put it any other way. I would prefer not to have to deal with that. But I watched, might be bouncing around, but bear with me. I'm giving you as much information as I can. I watched a lot of videos, and I looked at some things I thought I might want to do, and I asked my surgeon, and they're like, nah, you don't know the downside of it from my side. And I let him talk me into it, but at least it was fair back and forth, because I could have been pushy and insistent, but that's irrelevant. What works, and I'm glad I went his way. I wanted to possibly have plates in my chest versus wiring for my sternum. So that's basically what they did, is they went in and made an incision, as you can see, in my chest all the way down, about this long, I don't know, about a foot, or a little bit, maybe 15 inches. Anyways, it's down your sternum. They cut it open, separate it, and they go into your heart. They take a vein from your leg or your arm, and they rewire stuff because you're getting lots of blockage that could give you a lethal heart attack. But there's one thing I never see addressed enough, is what's the upside? Well, I'll put it to you this way. If you're getting more energy, that's what you need to focus on. And like if you have so much blockage, you're only living off 35% of your blood flow, then that's what you're going to get. Once you get the new heart fixed up, it's not a new heart, but a new wiring and rounding, like clean plumbing in your house, you're going to be energized like you haven't been in years because you've been living off a third of your energy. And that will change to have 100%. So that is the upside. And also knowing that you potentially have an extra 10 or 20 years you didn't know were not going to be there. Buddy, sorry, cut off for a second. Getting the context of everything. First of all, how did I discover that I needed a triple bypass coronary artery disease? 3 valves blocked up, waiting for a heart attack, a lethal one to just take me out. Widowmaker. I started seeing edema. Even though I was working out, even though all my numbers, blood pressure was good, A1C for your diabetes was good. I didn't have diabetes, didn't have high blood pressure. So, I had apnea, which is another thing that people have. The doctors didn't really see it initially. And I was about to go out and do something with some friends, and I asked this nurse about my, ankles, and she goes, "You better go get that checked out right away." So the smart move was I just went to the ER because I'm a veteran. Then I had every lab pulled. And just then, that time, they said, "You have elevated troponin." And that means that you basically just had a heart attack. Luckily, no damage was done. Luckily, it wasn't a stroke or anything like that. But I had almost a heart attack, let's say. And they were going to keep me there overnight or for whatever, just run me off to the cath lab and do me up. I'm sitting there in this emergency room for 6 hours in Long Beach, California. And I'm going, well, that's spooky. I would never have guessed this was my ailment. But it was good to know because you don't really feel coronary artery disease. Not necessarily. You're not feeling the plaque build up. It's not like it's in your mouth, on your teeth. You don't feel it that closely. What you might feel is swollen ankles. That's something to look out for. And you might feel it from your energy levels dropping dramatically. And in men, in a lot of cases, ED. And all of a sudden you're taking pills to do things and so forth, which it's better to get a whole new valve system than to be supplementing. You're like, why am I so out of energy? Why do I not want to do this? Why am I so unmotivated? Oh, I'm getting older. I mean, I'm only 57 years old. Not that that's young to anybody, but it's not as old as you can be either. And I think that this whole experience has taught me the only one that's got your back. I mean, I'm sure friends and family do. You got to keep an eye out for yourself. Now, obviously, some people that are watching this are probably just going in to get the cabbage, and you might be scared as hell. Like, oh no, they're going to do surgery on me. Yeah, what's the comparison to that though? That would be death. So I think it's a lot better than death. Almost be grateful to have it. I would say that's the best mindset to approach it with. I talked to another guy that was in my step-down ward, like the room after being in ICU. They kept me in ICU an extra day or so, I think, because it's about hospitals' logistical management. They could have put me upstairs, but they needed to just run through some more stuff. I was out pretty much early. I did surgery on a Thursday, and I got home on a Wednesday. And that was rock and roll, just under 7 days round trip. And had to drive 200-something miles round trip, with my wife. So I felt like I'm just going to handle this. I watched a lot of other people's YouTube videos, and I said, I appreciate everything that these people are putting out. But some people I felt came across with some despair, and I'm not judging them for it. I just thought to myself, I don't want to go through that. I want to go through this with an iron mindset. I know that I'm getting my everything upgraded. It's like having your engine upgraded. So technically, and what I've read, at least through AI, if I have 35% blood flow and I come out the other side with 100%, imagine what that does to my organs, vitality, and energy levels. I'm only out of the hospital. At my house, this is the 3rd day. I'm walking like 2,500 steps. I plan to do more. I plan by the first week to be doing over a mile. That's how I feel energetically. I'm alive. So you don't realize how dead you might already be or already feel if you haven't gone through it. I'm trying to tell you there's good stuff to look forward to on the other side. I hear complaints with pain. I don't really have that much pain, to be honest with you. No, just an awkward thing that's like the surface of my chest. I'm like, okay, this feels a little off because it's radiating, it's healing, But overall, it's not that bad. I went to the grocery store yesterday, pushed a cart all over the place. My friend had to pick up the food because you're not supposed to lift more than 10 pounds. And I walked all over my yard. I got over a half an acre. So I'm like walking around, getting those numbers up because the fluid that was in my body. And trying to get the taste of the hospital out of your mouth. That's the other part. But look, you can look at videos that are a guy's 8 weeks out. Hey, looks like we made it. Yeah. And then you can look at videos like me and say, you know what? I like the shortcut. Like that guy. He's just going for it. But it's also going to depend on your physiology, how far your situation has gone to be where you're at, how old you are, what's your recuperability, are you diabetic, not diabetic? Those variances change how you'll recover. But it will give you a fighting chance to do things that you haven't done before. And I highly, 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 highly recommend, if you have a few weeks out before going in, prepare. And by that, I mean, go for a little walk every evening or this afternoon and, half a mile, whatever, gradually, if you can. That's going to help you recuperate. Your body's going to be able to kick when you do that. Also, staying on a very low sodium diet. Like, cut out all the sodium, hamburgers, burritos, chips, everything, because sodium's no joke. And you're going to get bloated from the surgery. So if you haven't been training your body with a low sodium diet, it's going to take longer to shrink wrap yourself back to your dry weight. As of this morning, I was in the hospital about 4 days ago weighing 310 pounds. Today I'm at 288. It's quite a bit of a drop, right? It's because I pushed those liquids out. My dry weight when I came in for surgery was 288. So there you go. I'm back to that just about. And I'm sure there's a little more fluids. I suspect, because I've been not overeating or anything since I was in the hospital and since I got out. I probably lost a pound or two underneath all that. I'm probably realistically 285, 284. I just have to keep pursuing what they give me is called Lasix, and it cuts the water from the surgery out of your body. And so after the initial bloating, the debloating happens, the energy kicks in, you want to go out for a walk, you want to get off your butt, you want to live, and you're awake. I haven't had any caffeine. So I'm 3 days out of a hospital. I just had major league surgery, man. I'm just showing you. I'm not trying to brag. I'm trying to get you motivated. And I hope this does you well. Leave me any messages you might have in the comments. Highly recommend the Durham VA. The hospital's a little older, but the techniques and the surgeons are like the Ferrari drivers. They're amazing. They're like the Top Gun pilots of surgery. Amazing people. Couldn't recommend them any higher. And the aftermath, hey, the hospital's a little bit older. It's government funding. Everything gets chopped. They've been on the chopping block, what's going on in politics and all that. I don't know what to say. I don't know that the Veterans Hospital is a great place to aim it at, for sure. I don't see any excess. I don't see a bunch of Ferraris in the parking lot. It's honest people doing hard work. So, if you have any questions about it, let me know. Be glad to be of assistance to you, just like these other people's videos were to me. Have a great, awesome day, and I'll be making more videos. This is my first one, 3 days out of the hospital, and I hope you find it entertaining. Bye.